Welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday, November 29th, and this is another edition of Wisecrack Live. Thanks for joining us, chat, and Michael will be with you in just a moment.
What's up, friends, enemies, friends of enemies, enemies of friends, cousins of the mothers of the enemies that we once loved, lovers that were once enemies, enemies that will soon be lovers, those we lost, those we've missed, those we kissed while we lost a one that we loved that was an enemy, that was a friend. And of course, to all the clergy watching, may God, whichever God, be with you and all of us. It's Wisecrack Live, November 29th, 2023. Almost said 2024. I'm Michael Burns. I'm here with producer Henry. We're doing what we do every Wednesday, most Wednesdays, broadcasting live from Wisecrack World Headquarters. It used to be that I was alone at Wisecrack World Headquarters, but now Wednesday has become hangout day in the office. I hate it. But glad to see everyone here. Hopefully, everyone who celebrates such things had a nice Thanksgiving holiday. And even if you fucking hate Thanksgiving, I hope you enjoyed some time off work if you got it. And what's up to every green username in the chat? I mean, listen, I love everyone. I'm not here to discriminate on the basis of color. But our green usernames are our members, and we like them. We love you all, but we like them. You can join if you want. That's a thing you can do. But good to see everyone here. Lots to talk about today. As you can see from the thumbnail that you presumably saw, Eric with the jokes. Knock knock. Woke libs. Listen, Eric, you have a future job writing
Whoa,
comedy for the
punchline.
Daily Wire. Yeah. I love it, Eric. We'll keep them coming. Let's see. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the trailer for Lady Ballers, a new movie coming out on the Daily Wire's streaming service. Honestly, it makes Pure Flix look like fucking Lars von Trier films, but we're going to talk about that just because it hits a certain zone of us, right? We like to talk about political ideology and its effect on culture. We like to talk about digital media space. We love to talk about comedy. What's more fun than dissecting the dead frog of comedy? What's up, dog, formerly known as Cat? Thank you so much. Appreciate that you are here. And Rob, glad that you're here. Josh, we're glad that you made it. Atlas Pronto in the helicopter. So yeah, thanks for being here. Like the stream if you don't mind. Quick new segment called YouTube Complaint Corner. I'm going to complain about YouTube right now. Hopefully some of you saw the video that came out this week on digital disinformation slash misinformation. Worked on by our buddy Jackson, who was on our last stream. What's up, Daniel Santiago Hurtado? Thank you for being so nice. But that video came out and it was doing well, and we were excited about it. I was excited about that one. I got to write that one, got to host it. It was pretty involved. I like being involved in things. And then all of a sudden I woke up yesterday and it was doing really poorly because it got flagged as restricted content for people 18 years old and over. And we were hella confused. And producer Olivia, a god amongst humans, reached out to our YouTube rep and they were like, "Oh, I'll see you. We'll get back to you in a few days." And I went on the Twitters or X and reached out. And then, of course, I get a message today that's like, oh, yeah, our bad. That was just a mistake. And you guys might not think this is a big deal, but I'll tell you this. Um, like when shit like that happens, it means that all the momentum in the algorithm gets killed, and it probably cost us like tens of thousands of people. Dan, thank you so much. Love you, bud. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Dan. Everyone give Dan some emoji love in the comments. Lick the stream, then lick Dan. Um, but shit like this has like a drastic effect on our ability to function and stay alive and make stuff. So it's kind of a bummer when the platform can then just be like, oops. It's like, nah, this isn't some Britney Spears shit. This isn't some oops, we did it again thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure trolls did it though. I'm pretty sure maybe like some trolls reported that video or something like that. I'm not sure, but it was a bummer. It was a big bummer. If you haven't watched that one, check it out. Maybe share it with someone if you want. Share it with a parent. Parents love thinking about media disinformation and stuff like that. Um, Emperor Pilaf is checking in from Philly. Emperor Pilaf, I hope you watched our last video. We talked about Philly sports fans and how you guys are glorious psychopaths. We love you, but you are glorious psychopaths. But as we're getting going here, again, this is Wisecrack Live. Thanks for tuning in. If you've never been here before, we do Wisecrack stuff, but live. And yeah, JJ Carter says the Disney adult strikes again. Yeah, I think it might have been the Disney adult mafia, or it might have been people. I don't want to get too into this, but some people who watched the misinformation and disinformation video made some accusations. Also, I don't know if Henry saw this. Henry, did you see that there was accusations that myself and Jackson, luckily I don't think you got dragged into this, were problematic on the last stream?
No, I was combing through comments this morning too on the last stream. I didn't see what occurred.
So it didn't happen on the comments there. Someone tweeted, I'm not going to share the tweet, a thing that was like very disappointed to see Michael Burns and Skip Intro talk about. I guess it was because we like said something about like what is it, Students for Palestinian Justice or something like that. And we were like, oh, it's stupid. The campus has shut them down. And then someone said that we were like supporting Hamas. I didn't respond, but someone responded to them being like, dog, you can't even read, because they posted some documents to try to prove that Jackson and I were being problematic and they didn't even make sense.
Yeah, this
But
sounds
yeah,
extremely bad faith. Nothing tracked is off to me during stream. I
yeah.
specifically
Oh,
remembered the bit because I was clipping comments from it earlier.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very weird, but it's just been a weird week on the internet. Let's see. Oh, Eddie's here. Well, check out Eddie Villanueva's art if you haven't. It's so good. I'm Emperor Pilaf. I'm a Chicago fan too. How about that boring victory we got this week? A boring victory, but one nonetheless. YouTube Punk said, sorry if this is taboo. Nothing's taboo here. Nothing's off limit. But any plans for the return of Earthling Cinema with Garrick's Wormula? No plans, and I'll tell you why, and I'll be very honest with you. Things like Earthling Cinema and Thug Notes, shows of that nature, very expensive to make, very expensive, relatively speaking. And when those shows were getting made, there was a lot more money to be had in YouTube. There's a lot more investment in things on YouTube because I think people thought it would be something different than what it was. And right now, we barely keep it together, and our production cost is a pale white man sitting in a room talking to a camera without any props, makeup, or anything. Rich, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And outright tiny, yes, you showed up, and I had to say hi to the glorious psychopaths. Aunt B, I'm not mad about the Vikings. I have good family in Minneapolis. I love them very much, and while I'm happy the Bears won, I love Minnesota. I love Minneapolis. I love St. Paul. I love Duluth. I love some of the lakes in between the Minneapolis-St. Paul area and Duluth. I love Northfield, Minnesota. I love a lot of Minnesota. But there you go. Okay. Wizard of Cause did not steal that joke yet. And I am so pale, guys. I'm very, very pale. But YouTube Punk, thank you for asking that. And again, guys, nothing's taboo here. Nothing's off limits. Anything goes, or something of that nature. But yeah, so we did YouTube Corner, so now you guys know about that. So let's do what we always do, let's start by looking at some comments. I'll let you know again. Yeah, Stuff Buff or Stuff Bluff. The title of the stream is in reference to that. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, we are going to talk about the trailer. We'll watch it, guys. We're going to watch the trailer for the Daily Wire film, Lady Ballers. And I'll just, you know what? I'm just going to say this right off the bat. We're not political here. We don't have values. We're here to present objective and neutral reason. I'm soulless. Consider me an AI algorithm without any empathy or heart or anything like that. All that said, we'll just say that transphobia, bad. It's bad. I don't feel bad saying that. And
Not
it's not a
at all, yeah.
debatable thing here. It's just not debatable in this space. I'm happy to debate and talk about so many things. I'm happy to be open-minded and curious about so many things. I'm just not curious about like racism, transphobia, homophobia, classism. I'm not curious. I'm not curious if you're like, but let me tell you why actually race science is good. No, I'm good. I'm gonna do something else. Or if you're like, actually transphobia is good, and let me tell you why. Ooh, you know what? There's a new documentary about the hip hop group Little Brother on YouTube. I'm just gonna watch that instead. But you have a good day. You know,
Any
so
any
yeah.
political innuendo that's ultimately saying we should remove X group from society, just no, just no.
Yeah. Um, Remy Remsar said in the chat, have you seen the absolute moronic trend on TikTok of reading Osama bin Laden's letter and having an epiphany? We're making a video on that, Remy. I think we're filming it today. So, Sammy, you are right. I am a robot reading my directives. But yeah, just so you know, like, so that's a thing. Penny brought up white girls. I will say this. Last night I played bar trivia with some friends, and our team name was White Girls 2004. Um, just after the movie. Uh, it was a very diverse team, so it felt funny to use that name. But I'll say, you guys, we won. Okay, big news. Won bar trivia last night at my favorite bar in Los Angeles. We won a $30 gift certificate to that bar. It felt great, and I'm not even kidding. Nothing feels better than winning bar trivia. Nothing. Dare Johnson, you got to watch it. So, I recommend doing bar trivia. If you're in the Los Angeles area, let me know. Come do bar trivia at the bar that I do it at. White chicks. That's what I meant. Not white girls, white chicks. Yeah, there you go. DH says, you simply do not have to hand it to Osama. So you don't. But either way, so we're going to talk about the Daily Wire thing. We're going to talk about comedy. But a thing that we're not going to talk about, we're not going to like debate is like, oh, are they doing something good with making fun of trans people? No, they're not. It just kind of sucks. Oh, it would suck too if someone made a whole movie about why your identity was like stupid and invalid, you know? Like if someone made a whole movie about why, Midwestern Irish Catholics were invalid, it would really hurt my feelings.
I was
Well, go ahead.
I was taking Aunt B kind of in sincerity because earlier on they said liberal comedy from 12 years ago is now considered far right. The artificial movement of the Overton window is not working. I have stuff I want to say about the Overton window, but seeing that it's being copied and pasted is making me lean towards banning that sort of behavior. So just be a bit more creative and original in your posting, please.
Yeah, guys, if you're in the comments, you're just like copying. Listen, and you guys know this. You can say that we're wrong. You can disagree. Totally engage. I love that, guys. We gotta be curious here. But no, just don't spam or troll because it's not fun. And if you do that, I would just say like, I want you to know that you're valued, and I want you to know that you have value just because you're a human being. And I'm really sorry if myself or anyone in this community made you feel some type of way such that you feel like you need to be adversarial. And I'm sure we're all sorry about that. But we're just here to honestly, and I kind of mean it, I think we're here just to have like mostly good vibes. So if you're not interested in good vibes, you know, it's fine. But we want you to stay here. Ampy, I want you here. I want all of you here. Because when you're here, you're family. This stream is sponsored by the Olive Garden. No rules, just right. Fourth meal, it's a taste of the Outback. So we're going to get to that. Let's first. So again, we're going to talk about that. We're going to start with a segment that we like to call looking at comments from last videos. So, do you know what video these are from?
I believe the first one is from not the disinformation video, but the surveillance video.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we did a video on surveillance. I'll be honest, guys, no one watched it. I'll tell you why. It came out on Thanksgiving Friday. Who's just obsessed with who's on the internet as much that day? But the sponsor asked for it, which is like the sponsor's not gonna watch the stream, so I'm gonna say it. It's so dumb. You're paying us to make a video and you want people to know about your product. I'm not gonna say what that product is. They didn't pay me to talk about it now. And you want it to come out. You insist on it coming out on Black Friday. No one's on. It's silly. Um, but it's a good video. I liked it. If you didn't watch this, guys, the gist of the video, what's up, Drift King 305, is that we've all become our own little surveillance state. So there you go. I mean, you all watched it because you guys rip. You were, hey, we're at 420 something. Maybe we'll get a 666 today. I would love that. We haven't done a 666 in a while. Um, so comments, burns X accounts like Sisyphus rolls boulders. Yeah. Oh shit. That's the first one I see when I click it. And then the next one I see is I'm now suddenly afraid. Should I could start from I also feel from Michael Dodge 27. Okay, I'll start there and then I'll go the other way. Um, Michael Dodge 27. So that's so crazy because there's also a Michael Dodge in the chat. There's two of you. It's the same guy. I also feel like the human trait of voyeurism also has a lot to do with how we ended up in the surveillance state. I like that. I mean, like the idea that our voyeuristic tendencies led to that. I wonder what the psychological roots of voyeurism are. You know, is it that we want
Yeah,
to objectify others to feel stronger in our own subjectivity? Is
I'm
it
trying to remember the name of the author, but there's an art historian who has a book called The Art Instinct, which talks about a bit about like why like cave people would develop art and use artistic muscles. And I think it's kind of
yeah,
like people learn through like mimicry and example, and just kind of
yeah,
seeing what's normal, what are other people doing, how
yeah,
can I integrate that.
yeah. No, I get that. And we do someone said they need oh, hell yeah, Drift King from Miami. There we go. 999, which is upside down 666. We love what you're doing. Shouts to 305. Drift King, mentioned earlier that my group won bar trivia last night. A question we got wrong was what city Golden Girls took place in. I said Fort Lauderdale, and it was Miami, the 305. So there you go. Next comment says, as a person who suffers from severe social anxiety, shouts to you. That sucks, and I get it. It's weird to have one's fears justified by technology and society. Yeah, that's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling when our anxieties and worries are justified by those things. When we have anxiety about being watched, about being judged, and then the world sort of moves into that. And this is on a much smaller scale, but speaking of surveillance, I did have a little bit of this feeling when someone had tweeted last week that Jackson and I were being problematic. There's this sense of like, oh man, like I don't know, just like, do I have to like really think now about people in bad faith watching these streams and clipping little things out and being like these are bad boys? I don't know. It's just not fun. Um, let's see. Yeah, baby psychology major. You're a baby and a psychology major. This is the smartest baby I've ever heard from. Can say there's no known cause of voyeurism, but some risk factors that may increase the likelihood of it, like childhood abuse, substance abuse, preoccupation with sex. Whoa. Whoa. Wisecrack comrade, says C. Jefferson. Next comment says, this is why I feel the comedy is so important, especially in the darkest times. Comedians can help us examine ourselves by making fun of our basic, and I assume disinformation. Um, Comedians can help us examine ourselves by making fun of our basic and often common idiotic tendencies. Though then we may be humbled to examine ourselves more closely. Yes, then this plays into our video, the thing we're talking about today, right? That comedy, when it functions at its best, makes us look at ourselves and the world differently. It can point out our own idiocy. That's why often in comedy we have people playing this role of the fool or the imbecile or the one who doesn't get it or this odd character because it reflects back some in some cases on our own idiotic, silly, out of touch, dumb behavior. And it and I'm working on a video about this right now. I think it's not going to come out till January, but on why comedy isn't philosophy. Yeah, Tanook's here. We love it. It's your comment. I'm just praising it. But I and we can talk about this later, but I don't think that comedy is inherently like philosophical. Comedians aren't philosophers. And philosophers aren't comedians. But there's like a middle of the Venn diagram, and I think that middle part of the Venn diagram is using art, dialogue, conversation to promote a certain type of self interrogation. On the flip side, comedy that's just like whatever you think is good and whoever's not like you is a fucking idiot. That's where the problem lies because it doesn't involve sort of like dialogue or active mental work. It doesn't make you think. Now, to be clear, I also hate like clapter and comedians that say something, everyone goes, "Wow, yes, yes," because that's not funny. You're just a fucking, you're doing a fucking TED talk at that point. Um, but I think people love to, and it's interesting. People on both sides, love to talk about George Carlin is emblematic of this. But it is true, like George Carlin would often speak on things in such a way that you could imagine an audience having to be like, "Oh, that's important." Due to Bide suggest a trivia night between Chris Maverick, Skip Intro, and Wisecrack, high on allergy meds, no racist tirades made, bad joke. Um, so yeah, I think it'd be fun to do like a trivia stream event. Maybe let you guys bet on it. Maybe do some sports gambling on who would win. I think that could be fun. Um, and then we could get like Henry and Lux to be the question masters. I think that could be a fun event. But yeah, Jay Jijiyama said, "I hate political message comedy. I know the world is bad. I don't want to be reminded of this." Yeah, I do too. But I like comedy that makes me think about me or stuff. Michael Joseph Songer in a comment says, "Felt so much healthier and relaxed after I gave up most of social media and stopped watching the news. Usually, I find if an event of note happened from a friend, loved one, if it's important enough. If it's a news story about something from social media or what a celebrity or politician said, I avoid it like the plague. With Reddit and YouTube, I keep most of my interactions at surface level." Yeah, like what Michael Joseph Songer is describing here in relation to the disinformation and misinformation video sounds smart. Um, it's hard to stay completely plugged in. I don't know about you all, but um, yeah, recently I probably do spend more time on Reddit and YouTube than other things because they can be curated in such a way that they do just kind of reflect your fun interest and less of like the news. Um, but yeah, it's hard out there. I saw someone tweet the other day that social media is basically like, "Hey, what's up? Want to come hang out at the news?" And I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. There you go. Tomas Garcia from Chile, thank you for being here. Love to have you here. Love Chilean vibes. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Daily Wire's new movie. That's it's probably not good. Probably not good, guys. The premise of it is not very good. We did a video too a while back about the right and comedy. So you could watch that. But there you go. Dead Card 13 needs to take a break from Reddit. I get it. Next comment from Dead Card 13. Oh my god, guys. It's just look at that. I'm responding to Dead Card 13 in the chat. There you are in the comments for this one. I'm now suddenly afraid someone will see one of my shit posts, not get the joke, pass along as fact. This is a level of anxiety I did not plan for. So I left a comment to this one. South Park is way more cutting edge than the Daily Wire if you're going to do that. Eric, I have seen the Some More News episode on the Right Wing Comedy. I would argue that their episode and our episode on that topic are great companion pieces. I think they take a more social and historical note. We get a little more philosophical as we're want to do. So that's a good back-to-back thing. No, but Dead Card's point is so good. And it is hard. Like I left a comment about this, but I did an ironic shit post years ago about burning down a comedy theater that I was actively doing some stuff at. And then one of the people that was high up at this comedy theater one day hit me up and was like, "Hey, can you come to my office to have a chat?" And for a second, my narcissistic brain was like, they finally realized that I'm the voice of a generation. They finally realized that my antagonistic comedic style that 4 people find really funny and 1,000 people find annoying. That's what the future of comedy needs to be. So they're gonna bring me in and they're gonna be like, "Hey, we're sorry, we haven't recognized this sooner." But instead, they brought me in because someone like sent them a shitposty tweet and said they felt unsafe coming to the comedy theater because I might burn it down. I actually recorded the meeting. I put like my phone in my pocket with the audio on because I was just like, if these people fuck me. But it was ridiculous. And I refused to apologize because I was like, I don't believe this. No one in good faith thought that was going to happen. Like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, all I'd say is I understand what Dead Card's feeling there. The Nobody 9755 says Burns X accounts like Sisyphus rolls boulders. It's true. I'm trying to not get kicked off again. Okay. There you go. Yeah, some more news is very good. Glad to see you all here. What's up, Dusty? This is Wisecrack Live, coming straight from, I don't know, coming straight from somewhere. Although someone said Michael Burns sounds like an arsonist name. Yeah, I mean, my name's also almost a sentence. Michael Burns something. I don't know. Um, so shout out again to green usernames. We love you. Use some emotes if you got them because they're fun. You get them as a special treat. A special treat. And please like the stream. If you have not liked the stream yet, um, you're killing us. If you've not liked the stream, you are you're killing us. Quite literally. Quite literally. So thank you so much. Um, let's see. Just catching up with the chat. What are you burning? If you were to add a third word to Michael Burns blanks. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Um, okay. So I'm just waiting to make sure this doesn't start. Yeah, when you guys, do you ever go and watch together and you open it and there's the cat versus dogs video of the lady with on the bed with the laptop? It's horrible. You're killing your father, Larry. Yes. Yes. Okay, so again, it's Wisecrack Live. We'll get into our main topic today. And hopefully we'll get into some other stuff too. There's a lot of videos that are out that we're excited about. Um, so just a few things. We got some great videos coming out. I think there's one and Henry, are you editing the ADHD video?
Yes, I've sent off my most recent edit for QC, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Luck says. But there's some lot going on in that one.
Yeah. We made a video about ADHD. Henry's editing it. Hopefully he's staying focused. But that should come out. That'll come out soon. I think you guys will like that. I think you'll find it interesting. Part of the video is motivated by conversations that we've had about ADHD. Part of it is from people leaving comments on live streams that say, I can't watch this. It feels like watching ADHD assault me. So there you go. Michael Burns, The Daily Wire, Michael Burns, Illegal CDs, Michael Burns 420, Michael Burns Green. But yeah, so the ADHD video is coming out. Hopefully you freaks can focus enough to watch the whole thing. Ugh. But we're excited about that. I think you'll like it. We have a video coming out on, and this one we're having a hard time figuring out how to market, but the basic topic of the video is what does it mean when we call humans animals? Or we try to draw a distinction between the human and the animal. That's coming out soon. We're excited about that. Today we're filming one on cults. In particular, we talked about the Twin Flames, that lovely couple of hotties that run Twin Flames. A video about why the internet is so good a space for starting a cult. So there we go. There we go. Someone said grab the concerta. Yeah, I concerted before we got started. I made a concerted effort to be here today. Who shot Michael Burns? Wow. Someone said make an antidepressant video. So I think one thing we'll probably do is if the ADHD video goes well, we want to make one on anxiety and one on depression probably, and looking at how these are neurological phenomenon, social phenomena, and how kind of the social and digital and economic worlds fuel and facilitate those things. So check that out. Itcha just says, sorry, but when are you doing God's Not Dead 4? Soon, we hope. I'm pushing for it soon. before we get into our main topic, I am going to ask one question. You guys would like this. We're thinking about doing a philosopher reacts. We haven't done one of these in a while. If you don't know this format, it's a little more casual. We show clips of a thing, and I get to be like, "Oh boy!" But to the Squid Game competition reality show. So if you want to see me watch clips from the Squid Game reality show and maybe have a mental combustion as I think about the sick state of the world, where a show that's fundamental point was to get at the dehumanizing effects of capitalism on people and the way in which people from certain classes treat people from other classes like pawns in a game. A show that maybe pointed out that maybe this is bad leads to a game show where we just do those things. If you think that'd be interesting, let us know in the chat. Okay, so we're gonna get into our main topic today is Lady Ballers. Now we'll pause before this trailer gets cooking, and we'll do a little preface. Now, to be clear too, I mean this pretty genuine. I'm gonna be very earnest for a second. If you are like, hey, I'm a trans person. I love trans people, and watching something that is clearly making fun of my or people I love's identity, I don't fuck with that today. Take 15 and come back. We'd love to see you. I don't want anyone to feel like shit, and I hope you know that we're watching this with a pretty critical lens. So just know that, I don't know, it felt like a thing to say. Well, let's preface this for a little bit. So the Daily Wire, website, media company, etc. That's run, I'm pretty sure it's like Ben Shapiro's thing. And I might get wrong in how I describe this, but I consider it pretty like alt-right, far-right. I don't know the right words to use these days. Culture warrior right. And obviously a thing that strong white conservative men are obsessed with is trans women. They're obsessed with them. It's all they think about constantly. And yes, please do lick the stem, lark the strong, like the strings. So, these people are obsessed with trans women. In a way that's not good. It's not healthy. So they made a movie called Lady Ballers. Obviously, the title is making a comment about like ladies with balls or whatever. So right off the bat, oh boy. But yeah, so Daily Wire's been producing their own movies and stuff. No one really watches them, right? Because they're bad. They have like a streaming service. I think they shoot them all in Nashville. There's no way these are like union productions. I was trying to look into who is in these things, like who are the comedic actors that want to be in these. But so let's just like watch it because we want to understand why. Just why in general, okay? And if it's too much, we can go, yeah, someone said failed screenwriter Ben Shapiro. Yeah, because so for you guys who don't know this, Ben Shapiro he is who he is because he's a failed screenwriter.
In a world where women's sports is being transformed.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Also, too, do you think that Ben Shapiro and the people that made this movie gave an iota of a shit about women's sports outside of this? Like, I would truly want to be like, oh, you care about women's sports so much? Name 3 WNBA teams. Name 3 of the women who are on the U.S. gymnastics team. Oh, tell me which American woman has recently set records in the 800 meters in track. Can't do it. Just like it's just these people that all of a sudden they pick a thing and they make that their thing.
The Daily Wire calls foul with the most triggering comedy.
And also, these people are obsessed with calling things triggering. Like, are things triggering? My new comedy special is called Triggered. Hey, sorry guys, but you're about to get triggered tonight. Jesus Christ. They're the only ones that use this language. Okay.
Of the year.
It's funny because it's a guy in a wig. That's upsetting.
Guys, this is serious. Sports can be your pathway to a better life.
Well, like yours?
Please don't steal my catalytic converter again. Winning matters. It's the key ingredient in becoming a winner.
Maybe you should try it sometime.
Okay, so So I guess we have like a sad sack high school coach. He's not winning. The ladies don't like him. He's really sad. Okay.
Are you gonna move? I am not.
He got tased by a woman. Oh, so the woman. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the woman in this thing has a stop trans genocide badge on. Love is love. So I'm not making trans people safe. So I'm gonna rewind 2 seconds to see the full context. So this man is at some table where he's probably harassing this person, I guess,
Let's cut to the
and then gets tased by the person who seems like some sort of activist. Someone said, "Isn't he from Ocean's 11?" It looks like that guy. Okay. Let's keep going. We're doing this together, guys. We're doing this together. Wow.
chase. I know you're not a woman.
Hey, you don't know how he identifies.
If you can
I like too that these people's view of someone who is trans is sort of like, you know, it'd be really convenient for me to make some really difficult decisions that involve affirming my identity in a physical way that might make my life hard, that might make relationships with my family difficult. Like they act like someone who decides to transition is just like a casual, like this will help me get ahead in life type thing, and not a really like serious and often traumatic thing.
They will
Um,
simultaneously hold the sportsmanlike respect and drive to want a trophy, but then have some dissonant comedic laziness just for the sake of this made-up scenario where they still want to cheat for it. It's not a consistent piece of character to really run with the drama or reality.
yeah. Okay, so Wizard of Cause says that the coach is played by Jeremy, the co-owner founder of Daily Wire and owner of Jeremy's Razors, the anti-woke razors. I would fucking hate if my razor was woke.
I just thought he was
Yeah.
kind of like a dollar store Mark Hamill.
But again, like I like that. But again, so if we're gonna think about um let's see. If we're gonna think about what comedy is meant to do, right? Like think about your favorite comedies, friends. Um, most good comedies, like the main characters are the ones we're laughing at them for their idiocy. Our main characters aren't laughing or making fun of others, or they're not like punching down on others. You know what I mean? Like, um,
Yeah, I have
so
this morbid curiosity if the protagonist of this is going to what's the movie going to signal as like the mistake or bad thing that our protagonist is going to learn from, because it seems like if they're going to disguise themselves as women to achieve champion women's sports accolade, like the lesson's going to either be that like they shouldn't do that, in which case it's just weird mixed ideological messaging right-wing style, or that just doesn't happen and it's like a bad movie on a structural level.
yeah, someone said this is anti-satire. Reclaimed Dasein said, "Sorry, I'm late. Not that I need to be here, but we're glad that you're here." There's some more news video. Yeah, we've seen this some news video on Right Comedy. We actually made a video on political comedy recently as well. Guys, I'm embarrassed that I can't remember this right now. What is the movie where Dustin Hoffman dresses like a woman? Is it Tootsie? But all that to say is like there's like a history. The funny thing is like there's a history as well of comedies that play on this idea. I mean, someone brought up Joanna Man, but in all of those, like Tootsie and things of that nature, like the
Some like
joke
it
isn't
hot.
on. Yeah, the joke isn't on those people. I don't know. So let's watch a little bit more. Welcome to all the trolls in the comments. Glad to have you here. When you're here, you're family. Da 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 da. We're loving it.
beat
What
them,
do you know about the U.S. Opens for the Global Games?
You want us to compete as women. $5,000 prizes.
My lover says you were a great coach back in the day.
Join them.
This is the way the world is now. My 8-year-old daughter told me all about it.
So a guy can become a girl with no physical changes at all.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I feel bad for the kids that get dragged into this too.
Gender fluid.
So I can be a woman.
Go ahead.
Actually, I mean, so going back to Ampy's like questioning of the Overton window and saying good luck with the shift, this to me is one of those things where I don't know, growing up in the 90s, the right wing way of like not letting kids know about this stuff was to just not talk about it. Don't say anything. But like now, because they have to keep up with the culture and try to make a buck off of it, like they're here fully acknowledging it. And like, I don't know, imagine an 11 or 12-year-old who has very restricted internet access, but for some reason can see like maybe his parents' right-wing content. Like he's suddenly
Yeah.
seeing images of a movie where they're talking about this stuff, even if it's like in a reactionary context, like that part might not stick with the kid. There's a moment later in this trailer I think's actually pretty funny in that sense, because it's making a very blatant kind of like vulgar trans joke, but it's one that you can't ignore. Like the Overton window has shifted.
Yeah, so let's see. Someone said I don't agree with you. Yeah, we don't have, but here's the thing too, guys. We don't always have to agree with each other. I really think that someone talked about that in response to a recent video. I hope you don't think you always have to agree. I'm wrong so much and I change my mind so much. So I hope that you don't, I hope that none of you come to the stream because you just think like everything Michael and Henry say is right. No, we're wrong a lot. I hope we're here to talk, hang, learn. But like,
yeah, the volley of
someone-
conversation.
But someone brought up The Ringer, not the website, the movie where Johnny Knoxville played acted like a disabled person to win the Special Olympics. Now, is that movie something that holds up great? Probably not. But the whole point is he's the asshole in that movie. Johnny Knoxville's character, who acts disabled to be in the Special Olympics, by the end of the movie, he is the asshole. He is the person who has to change. I have not seen the full movie of Lady Ballers, but there is a version, right, of a movie like this where the characters who do their like fake trans to win at sports thing are the butt of the joke, are the assholes, are the bad people. Like when we watch Step Brothers, we're not laughing at Step Brothers because we're like, they're right. You know, Brendan has a point right there. Like these guys rule. No, they're freaking idiots. And their journey in the movie is they have to change as a part of that movie. Even a movie that's aged as poorly, and this is going to be a bad take. Get ready for a classic Michael is old bad take. Wedding Crashers, a movie that casually jokes about what is date rape. That's not good. But even in that movie, by the end of the movie, the main characters who are the cool guys, we realize, and they realize that they are fucked up, that they are wrong, that they have to radically transform the way they're looking at things to be better people. You know, that's part of the character journey in lots of good comedies. Or you can, think about people like one of my favorite contemporary comedians like Connor O'Malley, where in his video, he often embodies the pure id or the psychosis of a certain type of American guy. But like he does that to highlight the insanity of that. We're never watching the Connor O'Malley thing being like, this guy rips. This guy's good. Everyone else is dumb and he's fun. No, he's embodying that psychosis. So there's like a way to do something like this that I think would work comedically, but I don't know if we're getting that. Everyone rewatch Step Brothers. Hey, like the stream if you haven't. Let's get to 666. Use some emotes, hang out. Let's do stuff. The Danish Girl. I didn't see that movie. It sounded intense. Let's see. Just catching up on chat. JJ has the right attitude.
Woman on the court and a man in the bedroom. I can't believe it. Nice.
You mean when you're sleeping?
Yes.
Coach,
Alex, we could play basketball.
we have to get the whole team back together.
It's time.
We're in. I love to like that. None of these guys even look. I don't know. I'll stop. Let's keep watching. There's a thing I was gonna say.
I'm in.
To play.
Lady Ballers.
Man up.
Like a girl.
I'm with her.
I'm with her. The funny thing is they show all these guys dunking. None of these guys look athletic at all. At all.
This is my turn.
There's just like a lot of scenes in this thing too that are just like men hitting women. Listen, I'm not a psychologist. There's a psychotherapist, you know, in the chat. There's a psychotherapist here. Let us know what you think. But you know,
From heroes
Day one of being a girl athlete. I love being a girl.
to sheroes,
We could dominate every woman's sport. Running, swimming, soccer. I said sport, Felix.
and soccer is not a sport. That's a funny joke. Most popular sport in the entire planet, played by some of the best athletes on the planet, played by athletes that are like they could just fucking level these dudes. Toxic masculinity, I have some of it, deal with it. But at least I express my toxic masculinity towards these guys, you know?
I think when you sign up to put yourself in a competitive position where you're also insisting on certain gender essentialisms, you're kind of willing, you're kind of asking for a pie in the face. I don't know. I think this is all usually like, you know, the trans athletes' arguments are all just like bad faith because participating in sports isn't the same as existing in society, and it's too often used as like an innuendo to take away rights in society when
Yeah.
talking about sports. But like, even if you destroy gender, if you just rank everybody by weight class, there's still going to be women that are kicking dudes' asses in sports.
Yeah. Bradley Cook says women are getting beat up in real life by trans athletes. Definitely, that's the thing that's totally happening. It's a real pandemic, or it's a thing that people make up in their minds to get really upset about something.
Is that
That's
something the
really not
right
the
should be
issue.
joking about if they are taking it seriously as an issue and are respectful towards women's rights, or are
Yeah.
they just going to make movies where women get, you know, beat up for jokes?
Yeah, I don't know, and also like but there you go. You like, you can't even have an opinion these days without being mobbed. Listen, we can all have opinions, but opinions are like assholes. Mine itches sometimes, and I don't know why. I think that's how the saying goes. Um, let's go. Caitlin Clark. Yeah, someone brought up Caitlin Clark could outshoot any of these dudes. Caitlin Clark absolutely could. It would make me so sad if Caitlin Clark popped up in this movie. But one thing I find too, when you like listen to about a lot of athletes who are high level female athletes. I've seen WNBA players say this. I've seen tennis players say this. I've seen women's soccer players say this. They're not really too concerned about this. They don't feel threatened about this. And if anything, they're pretty like cool about it. Like read interviews with most of the active US women's national team soccer players about this. Some of the ex ones are being salty. Read interviews with some of the WNBA players about this. Actual professional women's athletes are way less concerned about this stuff than dudes that haven't played sports in 20 years.
It's ladies basketball, boys. Nobody watches.
I mean, so a funnier version. Oh God, I paused on Ted Cruz. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh. Okay. Hey, like the stream. Thanks for being here. Like the stream if you love Ted Cruz. Like the stream if you've ever jade off thinking about Ted Cruz. If the likes go through the roof, you know what, you guys are freaks and I like it. I mean, a funny version of this movie as well would be if some dumb dudes have this same idea, right? And they enter some basketball tournament, but then in the film, you know who we have them playing? Like women's college basketball players and WNBA players who absolutely fuck them up. That would be like
Yes.
funny because it would show the idiocy of those characters. It would show the limits of their own ideological thing. And you know it'd be way funnier than watching these fucking jamokes like hit women. It'd be way funnier watching WNBA players absolutely stuff these idiots. Like that would be funny. That'd be funnier. In my humble opinion, as someone that once got called into a prominent comedy theater, because they thought he was an arsonist. That's my opinion.
Do you know how many male viewers wouldn't admit willingly, but subconsciously love to see just big women beating dudes down?
Oh my god, that's if you've been into my Pornhub search terms, Henry. Um, let's see. Yeah, people brought up the ringer. We talked about it before. Same thing. Like that's funny. Or even in like Tootsie, it doesn't work out for Dustin Hoffman. The point of Tootsie isn't that it goes well, but that's why it's a funny and interesting movie. You know, Step Brothers, it goes well because you know what? The original pitch for Prestige Worldwide doesn't go well for them. Guys, we're almost to 666, and I'm gonna put some mustard on the bun for y'all. There's a ton of people that I work with that are in this office around here today. If we get to 666, I have to do the 666 thing, which is when I scream in my Satan voice, 666. A number of people are going to get very confused or upset. Someone just walked by who I've never seen before, who looks very nice, kind, gentle. They're going to have to hear me in a room screaming that. So that's my motive for trying to get us there. Let's see what Ted Cruz has to do. Also, like, I'll say this. I don't like politician cameos in movies at all. I think it's stupid.
Excuse me. Are these seats open? Never mind.
What was the joke about? Was the joke that Ted Cruz wanted to sit next to a woman, but he was afraid? Why are they making these guys look like they're good at sports? These guys are total jamokes. I say this is a total jamoke.
Kentucky.
Oh, okay, that's
Trunks.
No, she didn't.
What? Guys, did I just hallucinate that they just like had a thing where they made fun of native people? I'm gonna just rewind for a second. What is that?
My best faith interpretation is like they're like an overly inclusive, politically correct newscast that's trying to integrate everything. If that were the joke I was thinking they were going for.
Whoa, that's crazy. And then the woman on the left has like braids. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Someone says that was Michael Knowles. Oh, that's a guy. I'm gonna sit on this for a second. Just gonna sit on this. Just think about it. Let's all think about this together. But again, like I don't know if someone finds, and again, I'm going to be honest, you know, I've had points in my life where I thought that things that are problematic were funny. This is often when I was younger, and it was often this feeling of like transgression, right? That feeling of doing or saying something transgressive and like it feels good. And I don't know if like empathy is the right word, but I get that. Like as a hyperactive kid, I loved anything that felt like, you know, weird, transgressive, crazy, and stuff like that. And that's why I remember in middle school making jokes about tons of inappropriate things. But I guess when you get, for me, the difference is like, I have, and I guess I'll use the word empathy, more empathy for 8th graders that get off on transgressive humor than I do on adults,
Yeah.
right? Who think that humor is transgression. And for me, if you've been around before, you've heard me talk about Jackass. Hey, like the stream, let's get it to 666. So I make things uncomfortable. But you know, you guys probably know this. I love Jackass. Yeah, we did watch South Park in the 2000s, definitely. A thing that I love about Jackass. I made 2 videos for this channel about Jackass. Nobody watched them. And that's fine. But watching Jackass and finding that stuff so funny, I was like, "Oh, but they're not being mean. They're doing insane things, but they are like the butt of the joke. They are messing with each other." And that's why like, oh guys, we're so close. Come on, like the stream, let's get it going. Henry, can you be on 666 watch? Great. But you know, when you watch Jackass, they're not being mean. They're not punching down. Dead card 13, Lord of the chat. Thank you so much. And I just think that there's a point where like we got to expect adults to do a little bit better. Fam said Jackass or CKY. Some of the CKY stuff was like mean, but OG Jackass stuff not as much. Okay, let's try to get through the rest of this.
That's the biggest.
Who's that? Is that like a guy? It's like a guy we're supposed to know?
I've ever seen on a lady.
I don't care.
Lady
Oh, I don't care. I don't care.
Ballers.
One can even be trans age now. Which provides Sheelix with a wonderful opportunity to relive all the experiences that she missed out on in school.
So we end with one of the last jokes is oh, do we do it?
I see 668 now.
Okay. 666. We did it. The beast is here. Things are dark. Things are grim. We're in it right now, guys. If you got the emote, get it going. You got access to it. If your username is green, you can do it. Let's get it going. What a day. You know, if we're watching something like this, we got to be thanking the Dark Lord. Again, we're not actually promoting the beliefs of the Church of Satan. It's just a fun bit to do, guys. It's a fun bit. We haven't done it in a while. Thanks for helping us get there. And I hope the edgelords and the trolls in the chat can get down with this. The one thing that can bring us all together is 666, speaking of transgressive things seeming funny. Okay? So there we go. Fill it up. Fill it up. Let's go, Satan. Fill it up. Fill it up. Let's go, Satan. Santa is what I meant because of Christmas. You know? Edgelords in the chat. Trolls, come on. We can all get in on this one. Right? We can all get in on this one. The one thing that brings us together. 666. Thank you, Brian. There we go, guys. We did it, and we did it together. We did it together. Okay? Let's watch the last bit of this.
Streaming exclusively on Daily Wire Plus December 1st.
Oh, boy. Okay, so what did we learn? Well, we learned that this movie, Lady Ballers, we learned one thing, that clearly they use non-union staff because as someone pointed out, the lighting is really bad. So it didn't look very good. So we know that the production quality is probably not great. Says the guy sitting in a room alone with some random lights on him, making him look like fucking the lead character of the movie Powder. But also now that we did 6-6, guys, it's time to repent. So, take a break, get on your knees, ask for forgiveness. Because this is where the stream becomes, in the second hour, this becomes an explicitly evangelical Christian stream.
Yeah, get out
we didn't learn
any dick jokes now. We're getting very pure in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, but we didn't really learn much. Oh, someone said what's worse about all this is that Atlanta did a much better joke in season 1. Absolutely. Not to give free promotion to Tim Heidegger's production company, but yeah, Atlanta did a much better version of this. On the what's the episode? It's like the TV. It's the TV network episode. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's where in Atlanta, there's a young black man that's transitioning to become a middle-aged white man from Colorado, and pre-transition, he stands in the mirror saying, "What type of IPAs do you have?" It's one of the funniest things ever. But yeah, so it's just not. There's a guy I've talked about on stream before. Some of you probably know who he is. Todd McGowan, a philosopher and theorist. He teaches at the University of Vermont. If you guys like movies and philosophy and ideas, he's great. I love his work. He has a podcast called Why Theory. It's really, really good. Oh yeah, Black Beaver as well. Yeah, BAN Network. But when Todd McGowan talks about the point of comedy points out a lack in excess or excess in lack. That might sound a little overly theoretical, but it's basically comedy takes like a system that we all take for granted and points out that there's something empty in the center of it. I think George Carlin was really great at this. The flip side of it is we take something that seems insignificant and point out the hidden significance of that thing, how there's really so much more going on there. I even think, like, how do you say that guy's name? Is it Nate Bargatze? the Tennessee comedian who doesn't cuss.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah, I think it is Bargatze.
yeah, I think he's kind of good at like talking about really minute, like minutia of life, but getting to something interesting uh, via that discussion. But that's kind of like the idea of comedy. And I know there's something not funny about like over theorizing what comedy is supposed to do, things of that nature. Um, but when you look at something like this, I'm just like, okay, so, and I'm going to do this in good faith. If we're going to do the lack and excess thing, well, I don't think they're taking something small and pointing out something big or important that is there. So I think they're trying to say that there is a lack in the excessiveness of like trans issues. I think they're trying to say there's something excessive, extreme, unreasonable about trans issues or trans people, and then they are trying to point out a lack within that. Now, the problem, of course, is the people trying to do that are people, we're getting a little psychoanalytic theoretical here, with the most excessive subject position, right? And I could say this as a cis het white guy, shout out to my boys, but like we are the most excessive subject position in society. You can't deny it in terms of power, cultural influence, historical dominance, all those sorts of things, right? So much of culture revolves around this. And if you don't think that's true, like we have meetings when people want to like sponsor stuff or give us money for things, and you know what they want to know? Ooh, what's your demographics? Are there 18 to 34-year-old men? That's like that's who kind of drives the ship still. So the idea that you would have straight white men trying to point out that there's something excessive about trans, and the thing too with a movie like this, you wonder like, are there trans people in it? So Eric Eastland said lack of recognition of inherent biological differences. But Eric, I don't think that that's when we say lack, right? We're saying that there's something missing in the logic. And I don't know if that would be it, right? Because I think a lot of people would acknowledge um, differences in biology. I don't think I don't want to get myself in trouble here. So this is a thing where I'm going to say I'm not totally sure if I know what I'm talking about. So feel free to help me in the chat. But I don't think the a movie like that is pointing out a lack of biological differences, because I don't think that in a lot of the discourse, at least I'm familiar of, in the trans community, there's like a denial of that. You know what I mean? Like there's not a denial of certain biological differences, but I think the point would be that material or biological differences do not preclude a social and sexual identity uh, that's aligned with like a gender subject position, and that one can't then better align their material existence with that subject position. Does that make sense, Henry? Or am I
Yes,
being,
I'm
or
also
am
going
I
to.
doing an accidental trans?
I don't think you're doing an accidental transphobia. I think because what you're getting at as far as like is actually just like understanding the differences between like sex as like the biological identity, gender as the social identity. Uh,
Yeah.
and the thing is, we're moving into territory where like the people having these conversations are in good faith, not turfs. We're curiously like yearning or expressing that we don't know. Um, I don't know who's going to see this Daily Wire movie besides people who already subscribe to Daily Wire. So, like, what sense of efficacy or like argument it's trying to approach the subject on, it seems non existent. And this is, regardless of whatever issue it's trying to argue about, again, it's just reiterating terms to people already subscribed to that corner of the internet. So, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, from what I'm seeing in the movie trailer, there's not even what you could consistently call like a narrative arc or a character arc. It's just content, and it's content that hasn't been winning anyone elections since the midterms. So It's kind of just watching the thing scream at itself now.
Yeah. So Skip to My Lou 567 makes me think of Skip to My Lou from the And One videos. If anyone's old enough to remember the And One mixtape videos, let me know in the comments. Says, calling Daily Wire far right makes no sense. Tone down the crazy rhetoric for clicks. You're part of the problem. I mean, I don't know. You're right that like Skip to My Lou. I'm not like what's the word? How do I want to say this? I'm not like a cartographer of you know the directionality of various positions. I guess I think of the Daily Wire as far right because they are right of any like mainstream media outlet. And I would say that the positions expressed, at least in this trailer, are pretty far right. And I know they also made a documentary, What is Woman, that was pretty negative towards trans people. I would say that's a pretty far right position. And I think they have flirted with like Christian nationalism, all things which I do think are kind of far right. Um, let's see. Chris Doe says, "What happened to Garrick's Wormwood?" We actually talked about this. So that show is just so friggin' expensive to make. Um, so yeah, Salamander Workshop said to make fun of trans, I assume trans people is not transphobic. I don't think it inherently is, right? Like joking about a thing does not inherently mean you're doing that, but it's like the point of the joke, right? Like, what are you getting at? If you are laughing at a person, if the joke is, haha, that person's trans, well, that is transphobic, right? Let me know in the chat if I'm wrong there. Yeah, Rafer Alson, man, that guy was sick. Um, yeah. And also too, there's like far left stuff. I'm not trying to like, yeah. Someone said punch up, punch down. And I think that's the whole thing as well, guys. I think the easiest thing to get at comedy wise is like, are you punching up at a position of power or punching down at a position of powerlessness or something of that nature, right?
Yeah, our past video on comedy, I think, articulated this well. I think it's a bit of a mistake to just discount right wingers as like incapable of being funny or incapable of making art. It's a matter of them being able to channel and like make jokes out of the value systems their audience subscribes to.
Yeah. Henry, would you mind going and pulling the link for that video? I think it came out maybe like 6 months ago,
Yeah, yeah,
the most recent,
I'll go hunt it
and
up.
drop it in the chat. Because I think some of you might be interested, and even for those of you genuinely who are like just not trying to say, you are saying that you don't think some of this is inherently transphobic or the Daily Wire is far right. I hear you. I would maybe check out that video because we get into a little more detail about some of the arguments there. And I did read a very long book on comedy on the right. So, in making that video, I tried to take really seriously that stuff. I watched some Gutfeld. I watched Steven Crowder. I watched some Proud Boys stuff. Will I say that I liked it? I will not. But I think I acknowledged in that video that there was a Gutfeld joke that was kind of funny. And in that video, I also talk about how a lot of like liberal and left comedy is horrible. Someone said Sonic the Hedgehog. Joshua Phillips said, "Y'all are letting in all the trash. I'm out." I don't know who are letting in and letting out. Yeah, and some more news has a video on this
Yeah,
as
I just
well.
kicked JT out, and I have been censoring comments, but I don't know what trash
Yeah.
we're giving passes to. I am
Yeah.
trying to stay on top of moderation.
Definitely, and it's we're doing our best, guys. But for someone in the chat, guys, who you feel like is being like kind of like messed, and don't just be a snitch, but if you feel like they're being abusive or whatever, tag Wisecrack or myself maybe, and just let us know. We'll look into it. Moises, I did watch Gutfeld, so there you go. Yeah, and I mean, I guess the interesting thing too is like, I guess the desire. I mean, here's the thing I think is funny. I think things like this movie or things like the Daily Wire starting a production company, and please correct me if I'm wrong on this, friends, seems like a reaction against the idea that Hollywood, and I always look this way when I say Hollywood, 'cause literally it's like it's right there. It's out this window, a few miles. I can see it over there. But this idea that Hollywood is this like super left progressive space, and it truly isn't. And that's why I think it's so funny. that they think they're reacting against the thing that doesn't really exist, because like Hollywood doesn't even make comedy movies anymore. You know why? Because they don't make any money. That's all Hollywood cares about, fucking money. That's why we don't get comedy movies. And if you're going to talk about Hollywood being political, maybe watch last week's stream where we talk about how Hollywood is like canceling people left and right these days. Canceling, I hate that I use that word, but it is what it is, for having political beliefs that don't jive with the Hollywood establishment. Shouts to Scream 7, which is going to suck. Shouts to Susan Sarandon, who's going to be fine. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's some pretty conservative, puritanical value signaling going on still in like mainstream Hollywood, blockbusters.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is that like Hollywood isn't making Lady Ballers not because they're ideologically opposed to it, although maybe they are. They're not making it because, well, A, it doesn't seem funny, and I guarantee you it wasn't written. The thing too is like, I doubt, and I don't know if this is true. Maybe we can find the credits for this. I don't think it was written by an actual comedy writer. It's probably written by someone who's like is like a hobbyist, and that's fine. But like, there's a reason that professional screenwriters write movies. There's the same reason that professional boat captains steer the boat. It's a weak analogy, but I'm going to stick with it, and I'll die on that hill. But like the so Hollywood, A, they wouldn't make a movie like this because that funny, but also it just wouldn't make money. That's why they're not making it. You know what I mean? That's why we don't see a lot of comedies these days. And again, we don't see those because Hollywood's modus operandi is money, 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 money. Alex Butler dropped in. What's cracking? Oh, we're just hanging out. Mr. Demino said Hollywood made Tropic Thunder. They did, but like 20 years ago. Solus and McGowan talks about how in regressive substantive whole remains opposed to the entity that is punched down, which is presented as purely lacking. Yeah. Thank you for dropping that real deep coat. Really appreciate that. I think we also talked about McGowan in the video on Comedy News. Oh, did you drop the link to that video, Henry?
Yeah, I dropped it.
Awesome.
I can paste it again, though.
Oh, you already did it? No. Great. So yeah, so everyone look up, if you don't want to check it out, there's that video that he posts there. Someone brought up leftist comedy receiving clapter. Someone said that. And yeah, and I think here's the thing. This shit is no better than like liberal or left comedy that's just clapter. Because in both positions, someone is sitting there watching the thing and they're saying, I agree. That's not funny. You know what I mean? Is it funny to be like, I agree with that position, or I agree that those people are also bad? Like, it's just not funny. I don't think it's funny. If you think it's funny, that's fine. I don't think it's very funny. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, Maeve, we're starting Wisecrack Studios to make radical left-wing movies that turn children into commie super soldiers.
Oh yeah, I got the screenplays.
That's what we're here to do. Yeah, Alex Butler's the kind of master for sure. I think that so much of whether it's like Daily Wire stuff or certain liberal stuff, just like it's jack off comedy. It's masturbatory. It's doing something for itself without like challenging itself at all. Someone said, are we watching Jordan Peterson's music video today? Jordan,
are they talking about the postmodernist drinking song? We have discussed potentially running that before.
Yeah. Oh, maybe at the end. Is anyone like, what comedy is people? So, yeah, JJ Carter. We did a video about that with late night comedy shows as well. So there you go. I guess this JT fella came back. You can hang out if you're normal, dude, or whatever you are, but just be normal. Is that hard? Just be like normal. Just be. Is anyone here from the Netherlands? Because there's a Dutch phrase, "do it normaal," which I really love. And people say, "Hey, man, do it normal," and it kind of means just like, dude, just like be normal, be chill. Like, don't make it a whole thing. And I really like that turn of phrase. Ann Porkins in the chat said, I watched one Hollywood and now I am woke. That's my current maybe favorite comment of the day.
Yikes.
Do I have a recency bias? JT, I'm not saying you're not normal. I'm just saying like, do it normal. Just like be chill. Just like, have fun. Let's not be adversarial. Here's the thing. We can ask questions, but I don't like when we make accusations, Let's not be like, yeah, Dennis Vandermeer, I probably said it wrong, is chat. Thank you for confirming. No. Having a different opinion isn't not normal. It's expressing it in okay, I'll lose the thing. It's like expressing it in a way that I guess is like overly dogmatic and like mean. I don't know. Like, here's what I would say. When people hop up in the chat and they're like, let's say defending the Daily Wire thing, you'll probably notice that I don't say, you're a fucking idiot. I say things like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's the case. And here's why. Because I'm just trying to be a person. So so do normal. Dennis, let me know if that's right. Do normal. See, it's my fault because I learned that phrase from an American who moved to the Netherlands. Dennis, I will never say Sart right. I will die on that hill. And I'll tell you why. To say Sart right, I feel fucking ridiculous. You know? I'll just say that. Julia says expressing your opinion in a rude way and mean would not be normal. So there you go. Let's see. I'm trying to what we should talk about next.
We have some
There's a thing-
articles as well as videos.
I know. I'm
Do we
wondering,
want
do
to
we
follow up with
stay?
the Out magazine on this?
Yeah. Oh, I feel like people are gonna get so mad at this, but let's check it out. Let's just check it out. So, Out magazine wrote a thing about the trailer. The headline is the trailer for a comedy film about trans athletes is the worst thing we've ever seen. And then the subheadline is we're more bothered by the lack of talent and skill in this movie than by the transphobia. Opinions expressed in this article are not the property of Wisecrack Industries Worldwide, a subsidiary of Raytheon. Blasphemous says, what is normal? I'm just never talking about Sach ever again. You will never hear about Jean Paul in any of our videos. You will hear about Satan, though. You will hear about that. Okay. And Ben Shapiro is not normal. Okay, so we're going to look at this article again, but I love the Dutch, guys. I'll just say that. I love the Dutch. I like your vibes. I like your approach to life. I like that in some Dutch towns I've been in, houses that face the street have big windows and they're just open. And Americans are like, how could you leave your windows that open? And I feel like Dutch people are just like, because we're not fucking freaks that are just going to stare at everyone's life because we're busy doing normal, We're eating our bitterballen and we're doing normal. Is it bitterballen? Someone let me know. That's in my mind, that's like the Dutch drinking snack that you get, the fried balls on the sticks when you're at the bar doing normal. But let me know. To be clear, I'm not even. When I was still an academic, I spent some time in the Netherlands, and I just loved it there. Okay, so the article says it's a well-known fact that right wingers cannot make good art and don't have a sense of humor. I don't think that's fair. And the video
Yeah, I
that
actually
Henry linked
disagree
to,
too.
yeah, I don't agree with that take. I think that's for everyone who thinks we're being dogmatic, that's extreme. That's an extreme take. There are people with right-wing beliefs that are like funny, that can write a joke, and that can make art, especially art. Do you know how many good musicians have the most odious political beliefs ever?
Yeah.
Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. Eric Clapton, Van Morrison, some of the greatest musicians and songwriters ever.
I find Clint Eastwood
Horrible
extremely fascinating as a filmmaker.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood makes interesting movies, and but you know why? Because Clint Eastwood at least has a coherent POV. He has
he does have like a consistent ideology and voice that he's trying to like get across more so than just like toe the line.
Yeah, Eddie, we'll do a special episode on escaping academia. So to be clear, some of you might be like, "Oh, they're gonna hit us over the head with queer ideology." We're disagreeing with the first line of this article. Okay, so let's start. The premise of Lady Baller seems to be that any out of shape 50-year-old white man is by nature being a man a better athlete than any woman could ever hope to be. That does seem clear that is the premise because those guys were schlubby jamokes. I don't think, I mean this very generally. If me and some of my friends, and I'm in my late 30s, put together, if I got 5 of my friends and we played basketball against an average high school women's basketball team, they would fuck us up. The only advantage we might have would, I guess, be like hard fouls. But again, if our only advantage is like being Draymond Green to 16-year-old women, Yeah, I don't think that makes us better players. Someone brought up Roger Waters. Yeah. There's lots of people who make, and I think if anything, we're living in the golden era of seeing that some good artists have trash opinions. Okay. Um, Literally just got an Andrew Tate ad by clicking on this stream. No. Rob Campana said, I am better at tennis than Serena Williams. Guys, let's get enough donations to set up the Rob versus Serena Williams thing. Follows a high school basketball coach who gets his old team of guys who peaked in high school together to dominate a women's basketball. It takes the false idea that anywhere and at any time a cis man can and enter any women's sporting event. Which, to be clear, guys, I think that's important to note because I don't have a comprehensive knowledge of this, but I've never seen an instance of like, a trans athlete when it's just like a ripped dude showing up in a wig being like, my name's Sarah, let's wrestle. It's like a person who identifies as normally a woman or a man. I feel like often these people care more about when like transitioning women, but I just don't really think that's like a thing that happens. But the fun doesn't stop there. It goes further, saying that when cis men do that, they become unstoppable forces. It almost seems like the people who made the movie understand that if their premise was real, there would be real life examples of groups of men like this taking over women's sports. There aren't. Whoa, Gutfeld wore a Gigi Allen shirt? Yeah, Gutfeld used to be like a punk guy. So Gavin McGinnis as well was like a big punk DIY scene hardcore guy that went right wing. So there you go. Like the stream. Says there are many barriers in place for trans athletes, including hormone tests coming out and legal recognition of gender. So yeah, again, like that is real. It is not easy. And I'll say this too. We're talking about like, for the most part, kids here. I'm just not here to shit on a 15-year-old having a rough time. I don't know if you guys remember being a teenager. I thought it sucked. And I was just like some fucking blonde-haired white bro, and I thought it sucked. So I can't even imagine. But like this gets at, you can't just put on a wig and say that you're a woman. There's, like it says, hormone testing times it's coming out. So it goes on and says, even Leah Thomas, the University of Pennsylvania, possibly the best trans woman athlete in the world, was only ranked as the 32nd best female swimmer in Division I college swimming during the year. Yeah, because I remember when someone got beat by Leah Thomas in a race, they like got mad and complained about it. And a bunch of other women swimmers were like, she's 32nd. Like, she's not even the best person out here. You're just being a fucking sore loser. But yeah. So there you go. Let's see. Based on the trailer, it's not clear if director and star Jeremy his name's Boring. Wow. That's tough. Jeremy Boring. Also, like, why would you make a movie? So let's say this. I'm about to praise Pure Flix. I'm about to praise the evangelical Christian film complex, and I'll tell you why. They actually hire real actors for those movies. Like, say what you will about God's Not Dead 1. Kevin Sorbo is a competent actor. You heard it here. I'm saying it. Kevin Sorbo is a competent actor. Dean Cain is in that. Bad guy, competent actor. In the second, or is it the second or third, God's Not Dead? And we get Melissa Joan Hart, competent actor. We get the guy who plays Aiden in Sex and the City as the cool lawyer brother from Chicago. Competent actor. Competent actor. If you want to make right-wing comedy stuff like this, just get real actors. It can't just be that like the dude that started Daily Wire is like, I'm the captain now, and becomes the lead person. Like, why Will Ferrell's funny? Because he spent years doing comedy, performing comedy, studying comedy, learning it, getting his chops up, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Why Melissa McCarthy is funny? Years and years of doing comedy, studying comedy, training as an actor, learning how to be on camera. They're all skills, and they're very hard skills. So it's just like, do it well. Men should be able to fight women in boxing and MMA, says JT. I mean, if both parties were consenting, sure. If there's people in MMA, if a woman in MMA is like, yeah, I'll fight this dude, sure. Why not?
Just go by
I don't think anyone has a
pure
problem
weight
with that.
class. Like I just want to see like just a real gladiatorial, just no holds barred, no limitations. Hell, let them all do
Yeah.
roids. Like let's have some fun. Let's see how far everybody can push themselves.
Yeah, Henry Martin says, doesn't Ray Wise do some of the Christian movies too? Yeah. There's a lot, but so I'm just saying, like, I think Pure Flix, some of their stuff is it's just not offensive enough where like decent C-list actors in Hollywood are like, fuck, I'll do this for a paycheck. I think you would struggle to find people to be in stuff like this. And I'll say this, guys, I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody. But I'm a part of I hear about stuff, you know, I hear about writing jobs. I hear sometimes about like auditions for things. And I have gotten emails and gotten past things before that are looking for comedic actors and performers for certain things. I will say that I one that I got was from PragerU. They were looking for comedy writers for a thing. I don't think anyone who's good, you know, wanted to work with them. So there you go. Gremlin, I talked about Kevin Sorbo just a second ago. Okay, so it says based on the trailer, it's not clear if Jeremy Boring has ever reacted before or has ever met a woman in real life. Every joke falls flat. The trailer mocks women athletes, feminists, Dylan Mulvaney, and indigenous people. Oh, I didn't realize that was a Dylan Mulvaney joke when they had the person filming themselves. And indigenous people, it claims to be in transage is a thing, and it makes little sense overall. It also features a cameo from Ted Cruz, Matt Walsh. Oh, Matt Walsh is playing a trans person. That's pretty funny too. So, like, didn't we talk about this last week? The idea that every accusation is a confession.
Yeah, like isn't Crowder pretty well known for cross-dressing for the sake of a joke as well?
Yeah, it's like you think Matt Walsh was like, "I'll be a trans character." Matt, we didn't even talk about this yet, Matt. This is the first meeting. Oh, just saying. If you need someone to do it.
He made
So
a
if watching
documentary. He's
middle-aged,
an expert.
yeah. So if watching men in bad wigs beat up women and making fun of them is what gets your engine going, check out Lady Ballers on the 4th tier streaming service or Daily Wire Plus starting December 1st. Or don't. Hey, there you go. There you go. But yeah, so I just think, yeah, as someone said, you write what you know. And Porkin says, Prager, you more like Prager, he you. Yeah. Yeah. Dylan Mulvaney's not even an athlete, and they decided to make fun of her just because. I don't know. It's just boring. You know, it's just boring. Okay, let's brainstorm this, guys. Let's do this together. Okay, so everyone in the chat right now, everyone is here. Also, if you're in, you haven't liked the stream yet, let me do the station identification. We haven't done this. This is Wisecrack Live. My name's Michael Burns. Someone in the chat, someone in like the comments of a video the other day was like, "What is Wisecrack's name? I can't find it anywhere." It's in all the descriptions. Also, I'm not Wisecrack. My name is Michael. Good to meet you. Here's producer Henry, whose name is also not Wisecrack because it's Henry.
We are Wisecrack.
We are wise. You are Wisecrack. We are all Wisecrack. Spartacus, etc. But you know, if you're here, we do this every Wednesday. We do other stuff as well. We have a Patreon. It's pretty slow right now. I'll be honest. We have a small team. We're trying to catch up. I'm trying to get some stuff going for 2024, which would involve a lot more Patreon exclusive content. I hope we can do it. At this point, it's basically just like the big benefits of Patreon are you give us money so we don't have to rely on like icky sponsors that you don't like for money. You get videos early and without ads. I know you hate the ads, so you get those videos early, ads, and some extra perks along the way. So, you know, something you can think about. You also get on Discord and stuff like that. So you can also subscribe to be a member of the YouTube page, which is fun. You get some stuff there too. But, you know, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If you are broke, the best way you can support us is watching stuff, leaving comments, clicking, things of that nature. That said, we're all in a writer's room right now. Right now, we're all in a writer's room together. What would be like if we were going to pitch a movie for the Daily Wire? What is the movie that we could write? Now, I have one idea. Now, I'm just going to get the ball rolling. So we're all involved here. Okay. Part of my thought would almost be like a satire about how a lot of like liberal left presenting Democrats are like completely just controlled by corporations anyways. or something like that. Like getting at the way in which progressivism or leftism is just like a brand for some people and exploring that idea.
Yeah,
One way to maybe do it. I'll say one more thing and then jump in. But then part of me thinks maybe the move is like we have a character at the beginning who is like a right wing person wanting to be in politics, but they can't get involved because of whatever. And they kind of just like cosplay as the right sort of like woke liberal, and they use all the right language, and they like succeed in doing that. Something like that, maybe.
yeah. I just think a good setup for a world like that is to set it in a universe where Lauren Boebert wins the presidency, and everybody's just kind of like, why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have like a Boebert presidency. That could be a fun one to do. I'm trying to think for like, yeah.
I'm trying to remember if it was Daily Wire that did My Son Hunter, because I remember ultimately feeling very empathetic and sad for Hunter Biden because of that movie.
Yeah, that one's weird. I don't like shitting on politicians' kids that aren't involved in politics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's easier sometimes to shit on Trump's kids because they've used their daddy as a platform to get involved in politics at a pretty high level. So something like that. Oh, someone said the world's first transgender corporation. Okay, that would be good. So the movie starts and we're in like a boardroom and it's like stuffy old men and they like make a Pepsi type soda. They're like second or third in the market. And someone has the genius idea, what if we make the first trans soda? And the marketing is all about that and they get like celebrities to be involved with it or something like that. Um, you could do something like that because I do think like corporate wokeism is pretty ridiculous. So I think you could do an interesting thing there maybe. What's up, Chris Maverick? Hey Chris, we're just we're brainstorming. We're all gonna collectively pitch a Daily Wire film production.
Yeah, Alex Moek in the chat says U.S. Mexican border action movies the most obvious direction I could see.
Oh my
I
god.
think it'd be very, very hilarious to do like a U.S. Mexico / U.S. Civil War movie where you suddenly see the Catholics side with the non-Americans.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Trying to think about like a what would be like the teen comedy version. Let's see.
Just a kid constantly saying no to like every party or cool thing he's being asked to participate in high school, and he's just like, nope, staying clean.
Yeah, and then like all the cool kids in high school all get like STDs and stuff like that.
And then he
It's
gets
like
to enlist, and yeah.
yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I almost think that like you have to do it. The only thing where I keep being able to think of like multiple jokes and storylines would be, but then here's the thing, right? If you did a good job of critiquing like woke liberal culture, then leftists would like that movie too. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that's like you could accidentally make something kind of interesting in that regard. Because if you did something that would just pointed out that like mainstream liberals are just tied into like using progressive signifiers as marketing tools and they're all really serving the interest of like corporations, blah blah blah. Most like people on the left would be like, yeah, that's it. That's the one. So maybe something like that. Maeve Callahan wants a trad wife content creator that's trans who wins the right wing ticket to run. Ooh, that would be good. That would be good. We should pitch a movie about Michael doing poops. I think that also could work really well. Um. So yeah. Oh my god. A left-wing media team goes to Gaza to doctor footage and gets trapped in the conflict and will have to be rescued by right-wing Navy SEALs. That's pretty. I mean, if we're really pitching a Daily Wire movie, that could work. That could absolutely work. If it's like woke libs that want to like, yeah, like college students who've never been anywhere, who go to some zone and then depend on the. Listen, I don't think that's like good, but that's like there's at least like a story dynamic.
Libertarian
You could do
militiamen
it.
teaming up with black nationalists.
Wow, that's fun. That's fun. Dog formerly known as a cat says a zombie movie where everyone goes to STD like zombie virus, except for the kid who went to church and now has to fight the zombies. Sex zombies. Guys, there's a lot of people in this office, and I just yelled, sex zombies. And I saw one head turn as I screamed, sex zombies. Sorry. Michael B. Jordan is Kyle Rittenhouse? Jesus. But the focal point being the time he started crying in court. Okay. Okay. Me said, hi, Wisecrack. I know y'all did live streams. Yeah, we do every week on Wednesday. Come hang out. Love to see you here. Let's see. The Big Lebowski, except we focus on the rich Jeffrey Lebowski and his determination to save LA from its far left culture. The other Lebowski. Yeah, the zombie movie definitely works. Here's what I think. I think, okay, a sci-fi comedy where an O'Neill cylinder pair has one half, super conservative half, and the super liberal half, and they have to work together to fight off alien spies. Okay. 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 I see that. What are sex zombies? Come on, guys. Grow up. We all know what sex zombies are. Make a video on Ray Brassier. That'd be good, actually. He's an interesting guy, but I like him. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan as Kyle Rittenhouse is one of the craziest things I've ever. Imagine going in a room with Michael B. Jordan. Okay, it's a little out of the box here, Michael, but work with me. It's a biopic. You're the lead actor. You are playing Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old Wisconsin boy or Illinois boy that went to Wisconsin and started blasting people. That's just a crazy idea. I mean, listen, I think someone said Ben Shapiro in a buddy cop film. Okay. I like that. Oh yeah, I would think a cop thing could work, right? Like, because I think their audience would like cops. Like, what's a good like cop comedy? Maybe something right where, okay, here's where we go. There's some cops, they're doing their things or whatever. Early in the film, we see some left-leaning college protests or whatever, and they like throw stuff at the cop car and they hate them and blah blah blah. And we got to get from there to towards the end of the film, those same college lefty liberals depending on those cops to like save the day because of all the trouble they get themselves in. The point being that like the college activists are just like little kids and cops are daddy and we all need daddy. Something like that. Someone says on supply side Jesus wakes up in 20 America. That could be kind of funny, like a sort of multiversal thing where Jesus ends up here now. And yeah, that could be fun. I think we got some stuff. So I'm gonna, we'll get the Daily Wire. I guess they're all based in Nashville now. Is anyone in Nashville? Does someone want to be our representative to go to their office? Yeah, it is similar to the God's idea. Structurally, a very similar thing, but I think that structure could work there. So yeah. Wow, I didn't know we'd get to be creative together today, guys. I think that's fun. Please like the stream if you like being creative together. So there's some videos that we're probably not going to watch today, but let's like talk about them maybe. Maggie Mae Fish has a new video out on blacklisting in Hollywood that I think, and I started watching it yesterday, Henry. I don't know if you watched the whole thing. I think it goes pretty well with some of the stuff we talked about last week on stream.
Yeah, I think it goes well with the blacklisting we were talking about on stream. I haven't dived into the full thing myself because I was saving to see where we went today.
Yeah. And then Alice Capel has a new one on emotional labor. Check that out. Also, something I wanted to note, Alice's book came out, Collapse Feminism. Do you want to drop a link to that in the chat?
Oh yeah, I can pull. I can pull that.
Yeah. So and this is on me, guys. I haven't followed up yet. Alice is going to come on stream though, supposedly, and talk about her new book. So if you want to check out her book now, read it, and then when she comes on stream, we can ask her questions about her book. So that's the thing you could do. So consider checking out that book. Alice, if you probably have seen her YouTube channel, she's great. We had her on stream once, which was awesome. If you're not familiar with her work, check it out. But yeah, if you're someone who like buys books, you don't have to buy it. Go to the library or something like that. Check it out. But we're gonna have her on. We can talk about her book. I think that'll be pretty fun. And someone said, can we do more creative things together in future streams? It makes me happy. You know what we could do as well? We could get a doc open and we could write something together. That'd be kind of fun. Content creator says nothing will be as crazy as what's Tabuscus visiting Kyle? I don't know what that means. Obi, you don't steal Alice's book because she didn't give you permission. I gave you permission to steal my book. Alice's book, let's not steal. unless she tells us we can steal it. Is that fair? I think it's fair. I think the book's not that expensive, but check that out. Yeah. So this has been fun. I'll say, how about a movie where everyone is insane? It only works, JT, if we have one person who's not, right? You need that sort of contrast. How
Oh,
about
I
we
think
write
Angel
Yoda?
Studios is doing a dystopian Book of Job movie that sounds right up your alley if you're looking for that.
Whoa, that sounds crazy and awesome. I don't know a lot of things, guys. I'm old and washed, and hypothetically, I have a large human animal at home. But oh, I meant to type this earlier, and I just sent it now. When I meant to say lick, lick, lick to lick the stream. So, I'm excited we got to 666 today. I think we're reaching a natural endpoint. I will say, Eddie's in the chat. Follow Eddie if you want to on social media because he often does really cool drawings of the streams. If you follow me, I've been trying to repost those when they come up, so you can check it out that way. But yeah, I think we'll wrap things up now. If you haven't liked, do that on the way out. If you are on the Discord, drop in the Wisecrack live chat. If you want to follow up on anything we talked about today, you can always do that. wisecracklive666@gmail.com. You can shoot us an email. Before you leave, and we don't have Raw Dome, Sean. Raw Dome's 1,000, right? We're not far, guys. We're building momentum. Do I think we can get Raw Dome in 2023? No. But I think Raw Dome is running for president in 2024. If you're right now thinking, what is he saying? I take the hat off at 1,000. I go hatless for you. I'm like a cam model who sets goals. And at 1,000 concurrent viewers, hats off, Raw Dome, hide your wife, hide your kids, because it's going down. So the drawing guy is Eddie Villanueva. So on your way out, do a little What Are Ya? This is a homage to our friend Judah Bides. Let us know you're watching, listening to, reading, things like that. I'm going to shout out the MJ Lenderman live record. I think it's called Live and Loose. MJ Lenderman is a kind of rocky country indie singer-songwriter guy. He's pretty young, from Asheville, North Carolina. Put out a live record. It's good. There's so much energy on it. And he writes really good songs and fun lyrics. I think people would like that. So that's my recommendation. Do you got anything, Henry, you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I've been reading an essay called The Puritanical Eye. It's about sex in movies, and I think it fits really in well with what we were talking about today as far as entertainment, depictions of sexuality, and how Hollywood's not as left-wing and liberal as people think it is. I'll share it in the Discord.
That's awesome. And just to say something really weird, on the way out, if you want to type in your Pornhub search terms so that we all can see them, feel free. That's the thing you can do along with recommending something. Only Domes. Yes, that's my new website. So check for the video on Friday on ADHD. Pay attention to it. Take your pills. Watch it. We're really excited about that. Excited about a lot of new stuff coming down the pike. Barry's very fun, Dennis. Barry does not do normal. I do not think he does. The actual guy's name, I'm going to type it in the chat. I'm going to type it in right here. I'm going to say his name is MJ Lenderman. The album is called Live and Loose. Only Domes. Okay, awesome, everyone. Have a very fun week. Be good to each other. Stay curious. And remember that a troll is just a person that needs love. But you don't have to give it to him. Thanks as always to producer Henry for basically making all this happen. Thanks to you in the chat, especially thanks to our members, our patrons, our lords of the chat. I think our lord of the chat is still Dead Card 13 for this week. Thanks to everyone for the super chats. Thanks to everyone for using those emotes. Thanks for getting us to 666. Maybe drop some emotes on the way out, and we'll see you next week right here for the first Wisecrack Live of December 2023. Where does the time go? We'll see you next time, guys.
Yeah, see you next month, y'all. Thanks for chatting.